is we will start with a 5-minute short introduction by each of the astronauts here. They will give us a brief introduction of their journey, beginning from their school life up to the point of their becoming an astronaut. Then we will later open the floor to the crowd here, open the forum to the crowd here. You may ask any questions, but this session is focused more on career options, job options, in areas related to astronomy, physics, space science, any related fields, okay? Then once we are done with that, if there's still time, we can open up for other questions. Maybe you would like to know about their duties, responsibilities as national astronauts, how their life is, okay? Feel free to ask anything, but we will start with the career option first, okay? Okay? Okay. So, how many here are Star Trek fans? Star Trek fans. Star Trek, Into Darkness, something like that, those movies. Oh, not many. How many here are Star Wars fans? Oh, slightly a bit more, so you guys are not Trekkies then. Okay, so, okay, you may lower your hands down. Okay, so if I were to say that, not only the two people in front here have been, are traveling in space. If I say each and every one of us, me, you, and everyone, we are actually angkasawan, astronauts or cosmonauts, taikonaut, whatever you call it, would you believe me? Anyone? Yes? Okay, the answer is yes. Why? Why do you answer yes? Because I dreamed last night that, I dreamed that I went to space last night? No answer. This crowd is a tough crowd, huh? Still sleepy. Penuh. Makan tengah hari ya. Percaya tak anda kalau saya kata, kita semua adalah angkasawan? Percaya? Okey. Kenapa? Okay, I get one answer. Okay, can you just say it out loud?
Okay, because the Earth is a spaceship.
Okay, so he says spaceship Earth. Okay, one of you mentioned this. Okay, spaceship Earth. So dia kata bumi ni satu bentuk kapal angkasa. Kapal angkasa yang paling best lah, sebab kita selesa, tak payah nak susah payah macam dia orang pakai oksigen mask apa semua. Okay, kita kan bergerak kan dalam cakrawala ni. Okay, so the concept of spaceship Earth, okay, is the best spaceship available, right? You are very comfortable. You don't have to wear any oxygen masks, right? Your family is here. You get to eat well. You get to do everything that you like. But yet we are moving in the universe, right? So with that note, I would like to pass this session to Mr. Klaus first. He will start explaining his background.
Assalamualaikum. So, he just started nicely, Mothership Earth, Mother Spaceship Earth. When you are imagining that we are in a little spacecraft, either on a space station or we are in a Soyuz capsule, we have a certain shielding around, 2 to 10, 12 millimeters thick, but we are watching our atmosphere inside very well. So when you compare that to our mother spaceship Earth, around we have the ionosphere and so on, they are protecting us against outside dangers. But nevertheless, are we always willing and able to keep our atmosphere clean as well? So that is the question, yeah? So I know I'm a test pilot, so I'm flying around with our airplane, so I'm polluting as well the world, Yeah, I'm guilty as well. Don't worry that I'm not guilty. Yeah? But I think when everybody does a little bit to it, to clean it, then I think we are on a good way. When I came to Russia to do my training in Russia, initially on the roads it was very, very dirty. But I tell you, they were having then 850 anniversary of Moscow, and even the people, they just followed someone who left a joint of a cigarette on the floor. They knocked and said, "You just forgot something here." And they were cleaning up their place in Moscow incredibly. And when everybody is just watching a little bit, a little tiny bit, and then all of a sudden this world or this earth, mothership earth, will get cleaner and cleaner, and then we are able, from our fathers, our grandfathers were giving this spaceship to us in a pretty good, functional way. But are we really willing to give that to our children or children's children? And that is your question which you have to answer for yourself. Yeah? So, who is this man who is talking to you? So, I'm Klaus Dietrich Vlade. I'm a German astronaut. But I was not always having this dream to be an astronaut. But I started as a young guy, going to school, was 6 years old, but before that I did music, so I was preparing myself a little bit for a, let's say, disciplined way of life, which not always happened. My mother and my father, they were frustrated with me as well. I think your fathers and mothers were a little bit the same. But on the other hand, I think one day I got to a good path. I understand that I have to work a little bit harder than I was used to, and to finish my school, let's say to the 18-year-old, then you having your, we call it the ability to go to university. And there I was, let's say, not the fully best one, but I was in the first third, which enabled me to go to the subject which I really wanted. When I was entering the university, we had a professor for mathematics. He said, "Okay, just turn right and to look to your neighbor. In 1 year, he will not be here anymore," he said. Yeah? And so we were frustrated. And then he said, which is not right, he said, "Okay, and now look to your left. He will be as well not here any longer." And he said, so 50% I even neglected. But when you just calculate this one, you're coming to 33%, which still were keeping then. Yeah, from 3 people, 2 were examined, then 1 keeps his 33% about. But, that did not really frustrate me, but I went along, and after 1 year, I had almost started my pre-diploma, and I was studying air and space technology at that time, and I gave a symposium for synthetic oils, just to make not natural oils from refineries, but you made the oils yourself, and then you see whether the capabilities are correct. And this professor came to me and said, "Well, Mr. Vlade, would you like to work with me?" I said, "Well, this is rather bold. I just started to do my university work, and you offer me already to work with you as a professor." And he said, yeah, come on. You can do with me the diploma, and you can write the thesis with me. I said, "Well, my goal is normally air and space technology." And he said, "Well, you have to do a little bit more, but you can have that with me." And finally agreed. So I did air and space technology. After the first year, I started in chemistry with this guy. And in our university, which was very unique, when you started air and space technology, you had to do fully something different as well in parallel. So I choose economy. So small and big economies. So that were already 3 subjects which I studied at that time. And after 4 years, I was almost ready or finished. And then one of the chemical apparatus were struggling and not giving the proper results anymore, so I had to renew it. And the professor said, okay, you have to restart your thesis for another 6 months, but I cannot give you the same subject again. So I had to restart the total work again in chemistry. But you know, when you are used to having about 32 or 36 hours per week to go to university normal lectures, you are used to work, but then doing the thesis, you work maybe 5 or 6 hours a day, but you still have some spare time. So I said, well, what would interest me? And that is ergonomy, which is then finally a part where you can construct workplaces. How mostly economically you are sitting there and having everything in reach and so on to construct cockpits and so on. And my bosses said, no, we don't have that in our university. And then I choose something which is fully different. You know what teamwork means? So organization psychology, this is the global subject. And this one I studied, and that was the fully best in all my life which I ever studied. Because that is actually the human relation between a boss and his team, or the team and the boss. Yeah? And even for team players intermediate, that was really something which I really wanted. And that gave me the leadership qualification afterwards, not by a title, but just the ability to live it. When I'm going day by day working as a superior or a head of a thing, I'm at the moment the head of Airbus operations. And so I'm the guy who's telling the other ones what they should do, more or less, yeah? But you can do that in different ways, by law and order and saying, you do it, or you say, could you please do it? It is a slight difference, but it makes a big difference with your people. When you're respecting them eye by eye, yeah? Or when you are used to give orders, obviously you have to control whether these orders have been done afterwards. Yeah? And so you can say, okay, you coming tomorrow at 10 o'clock into my office and make a little presentation how you did that. Yeah? Of course, then the guy is sitting at night and doing a PowerPoint presentation. In the morning, he has not slept very well. The computer broke down, so he has a bullshit presentation on this next morning. And, well, the boss is not really happy. Yeah? But when you're saying, well, oh, I think you had a wonderful idea. Just come into my office. And you just right away, you're talking to him and saying, well, this is what I have achieved. No stress, nothing, no stress, nothing, and you just having an easy way to communicate with your subordinates. So that is the slight little difference only between how you say something, and that you're learning in such a field. Obviously, this will not give you now the permit to go into space, but this will give you a permit to talk to people. And I think to respect people, whatever nationality, whatever religion, whatever color, you know, it does not matter. When you just look into the heart, and that is it, and then you have not always, you're seeing someone and you put him right away in drawer number A, but you are giving him at least a second chance. When you think, maybe he is still a good guy, yeah? Because this happens very often that people are very quickly put into one of the shelves. So I do not want to borrow you with a long time now with this history, and I would, in this case, just give it to my colleague.
Okay, so we would like to hear you speak Russian. So I would like to invite Mr. Fadli, who will also be the translator. Okay. So in 5 minutes, your background from school till
Окей. Дорогие друзья, все мы знаем, что полеты в космос – это очень интересно.
Hello, everybody. We all know that flying into space is very interesting.
Интересно не только работать, но и, конечно, все думают, что космонавты – это люди, которых уважают, любят, почет, уважение на каждом шагу. И они живут так всю жизнь.
We all know that being an astronaut or cosmonaut is a profession that being respected by others. All the works that been done there and everything that a person as an astronaut be.
И, конечно, это не так.
Well, it's not like that.
Особенно молодые люди, и точно так же, как и я в молодости, думал о том, что очень легко стать космонавтом, работать и быть всегда в уважении, в почете.
And usually, a young people like myself, when I was young, I think that being an astronaut is a difficult profession.
Почет, уважение, знаешь? Почет, когда тебя любят, когда тебя хлопают. Да, я про это.
And as an astronaut, we are being respected by others.
Но это не так.
And it's not that means like that.
Ну и я родился в маленьком городе в Кыргызской республике. I was born in Kyrgyzstan, a small city. Not many population, of course, small school, and no technologies, just mountains and rivers, forests, and we were far away from our city. Were far away from technologies. That's why when I saw first time the plane on the on the sky, maybe I was 4 years old. I decided to become pilot. И that dream followed me all my life. И давай, по-русски, да? И когда мне учился в 8-9 классе,
И как, when I was in 1989,
нет, when I was schoolboy, у меня появилась мечта стать космонавтом.
when I was in school age, I was always dream to be an astronaut.
И, конечно, в то время не было компьютеров, и у нас был только телевизор и библиотека.
And in our village in Kyrgyzstan, there are no computers, there are no technologies. There are only libraries and books and television.
И мне пришлось, у нас была большая библиотека, и мне пришлось перечитать все книги про авиацию, космонавтику и все технические книги.
In my village, there is one big library, and in this library, I always read books about aviation, about space, technologies, and others.
И вот примерно в 15 лет я уже знал, как стать космонавтом.
And when I was 15 years old, I already know how to be and what needs to be an astronaut.
How to become cosmonaut.
How to become a cosmonaut.
Я узнал, что космонавтами становятся летчики-истребители.
Before I became an astronaut,
I find out
I found out that to be an astronaut,
it's necessary to become pilot, fighter pilot.
jet fighter pilot.
Да. I'm sorry, I don't speak English well, because in Russia we don't speak English. We speak Russian, and I speak English last time maybe 5 or 7 years ago. That's why. Да. И я решил пойти в высшее военное авиационное училище летчиков. It means,
And
so,
I decided to go to an institute of aviation that's called Vishevaya Institute.
High Military Pilot School. So first time I decided to go to Orenburg. We had the Gagarin's pilot school. And when I go there, that pilot school didn't prepare fighters. That's why I had to come back to my village, and I go to serve as a soldier to army.
Because in Russia, if we didn't proceed to university, all Russians need to go to army, like PLKN here in Malaysia. So he decided not to go to army. And he went to the army for a year. And then
И потом прямо с армии можно было поступить в летное училище, и я узнал, что самые лучшие училища на тот момент, откуда больше всего космонавтов выпустились, закончили, да? Это было Харьковское летное училище.
And I finished my institute in Army Pilot Institute of Army.
I went to Kharkov pilot school, and I graduated that school. It was in Ukraine. At that time was Soviet Union, you know, and in Russia we had about 15 pilot schools. So после окончания летного училища я служил летчиком-инструктором.
And after graduated from the Pilots Institute, he became a pilot instructor.
И, конечно, мечта оставалась стать космонавтом, но как пойти, как сделать так, чтобы тебя отобрали, у меня не было возможности поехать в Москву. Я служил далеко, в Средней Азии.
And my dreams remains the same to be an astronaut, but at that time I need to figure out how from Kyrgyzstan Republic to go to Moscow.
И I wrote, я написал письмо начальнику космического центра с просьбой рассмотреть вопрос о зачислении меня в отряд космонавтов.
And I wrote a letter to
chief of
a chief of
Gagarin
astronaut training center, and to release me, to take me as an astronaut.
И я проходил отбор более 2 лет, прошел десятки комиссий.
And I passed the test within 10.
Более 2 лет мы проходили.
about 2 years, I passed the exam to be an astronaut.
И в отряд космонавтов был зачислен в 1990 году.
And I became an astronaut at 1989. 1990.
И чтобы стать космонавтом, уже будучи кандидатом в космонавта, нужно было пройти 3 этапа. 3 этапа. 3 parts. I have to pass 3. 3 parts of training.
In order to become an astronaut, I need to pass 3 types of tests.
Training.
3 types of training.
Okay, let me speak in English time to time. And first part is about 2 years. We are candidates of.
Maybe we can do that afterwards. The types of training we can address.
Okay.
So,
I became cosmonaut in 1990, and after 2 years, I go to Moscow State University.
types of training.
The Moscow State University, finished it, and I received degree of cartography and ecology. And in 1997, I was invited to the US as a payload specialist for flight SS-89 to fly to Mir Station. After that flight, I was several times backup for about 12 expeditions. 12 times I was backup, and I flew second time 2004, 2005, and nowadays I train young cosmonauts.
Sorry, the types of training we will address during the the types of training we will address during the question and answer session, because some of them wanted to ask regarding the types of training, so we will address that during the Q&A. Okay. Okay. So now this time to involve you guys. Okay. So some of you came to me with some questions early on, so now it's time to start. So.
My name is Wano Isham and I'm from UNICEF.
Your question, please.
My question about power generation in international mirrors, right? International
Pardon?
Space Station.
Okay, International Space Station.
The power generation, how do you store the power? I know that they use solar to generate the power, but
Can you speak a bit louder, sir? Okay.
sorry.
Ah.
How to store the power from International Space Station? I know they use solar to create power. Then I wish to know, where do you put a battery with limited space?
Okay. So who would like to take that? Okay, Mr. Shalizad.
Of course, it doesn't matter. All spacecrafts the same. As you mentioned, we receive electricity from from the sun, and of course we use in Russian segment 24 volt, and American segment 115. So we have accumulators about 12 big in one part and 12 to another. We can use once in daytime, at night time, just half of accumulators. Of course, in daytime we use accumulator electricity from solar array, and of course we have big amount of solar array in American segment, and we nowadays mostly we rely for American segment solar arrays to receive about 20 kilowatt energy at a time. Да.
Okay. Answer your question? Okay, you get the idea. Okay, we move on to the second question. Boleh tanya dalam bahasa Melayu atau apa-apa bahasa yang kami boleh faham? Okay. Name please.
Hi, I'm Balkis. I'm from Sri Habib. Sri Habib. I really
Sri
like,
Habib.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kajang. I really like everything about space. So many people tell me that being an astronaut is a really hard job to do. So I want to ask both of the astronauts that is being an astronaut is really hard.
Okay, so she would like to know how hard, I guess, being an astronaut is.
Thank you. So, to become an astronaut, we have talked about it, but you have seen today when we're coming here, we consider us not something special, but as we are so few in the world, probably it is a little bit something special, yeah? Today we tried to do an autograph session, so I walked around just up here to the top, and I fall over twice, you know. It is sometimes hard, but the main thing is what is hard is not the physical part. You know, when you are put sometimes on the stage here, you feel a little bit special. Yes, we do. And sometimes it's nice as well to say, well, you have well done and so on, and you feel good. But when you start to believe that you are something special, then I think you are on the wrong side, because you are just one amongst others who have done maybe something special, but you were as well equipped with a special training to do that. If I would do your job, I would probably not achieve it. If you try to do my job, you probably would not achieve it, yeah? But when you have the proper training for doing that, and as well the mental attitude to say, well, we are just one of the research team, and an astronaut is unfortunately, when he is telling the same thing like the engineer who has constructed, let's say, the system which we are operating with, when the engineer says the same words like I do, he unfortunately will not be believed in the same way like you do it with an astronaut. And this, I think, it is wrong. You know, the specialists who helped us to create a good experiment, I think they should get all this hero stuff and not only the astronaut. And therefore, you see very often when a big achievement is done and someone is getting a big award or something like that, normally he says, well, thank you very much for the award, but actually it is my team who has achieved it. And that is absolutely the thing what we have to do, yeah? So it is mentally sometimes it is hard to get around and away from this podest and being one of you again. And that is sometimes the hard thing about astronauts. Sometimes they're believing in that they are special, and then all of a sudden they are so high in their belief, and then all of a sudden the day comes when nobody wants anything from them anymore, and they're falling into this big, deep hole. And that is a big danger. Yeah?
Okay, thank you. Move on. We are moving on to the next question. We don't have much time, so please make full use of this session. Please move quickly to the microphone.
Assalamualaikum and hello. My name is Muhammad Azri from MRSM Johor Bahru. I want to ask, in your training period, does they provide you with the space food? I mean, like the tubes. Have you tried before you go to the space? And if not, does it does it
Cakap Melayu tak apa, apa dia? Nak tanya apa tu sebenarnya?
benda tu jadi masalah ke kalau macam tak biasa dengan makanan dalam tube tu?
Oh, okay. He is asking if it's difficult for you since you are, in case you are not, let's say you don't like it, so how do you adapt? That's what he wants to know. Is it a problem to you to adapt to the space food? I think you can just do it from there. I'll just be here. Okay.
Okay. Eating in the space is
Yes.
not easy. It seems not easy, but it's very easy. Of course, first flight was not understandable how to eat, how cosmonaut will feel eating something. It will stay here or goes without problem down. So the first food.
So how do you make sure that the food goes down? Do you have to orient your body in a certain way?
No,
Then?
nothing.
Oh, okay.
So first food was in a special volume, and it was not. It was not like as we eat in the earth.
Mhm.
So it was kind of you see.
Yes, the video by it's
in
floating.
space. Yes,
Okay.
but nowadays everything changed, and we have about 2,000 types of food. We have special institute food.
Okay, so a
Institute,
special institution
they-
which prepares 2,000 types of food. Okay.
Type of food.
Okay.
So they prepare that food. They bring to try, and we try all food, and we choose which of them to take with us, because we have long duration flights.
So you can choose which one is most suitable for you.
Yes.
Okay, I think we'll have to cut it there. Okay,
No.
because there's. Oh, okay, you still have some. Okay.
Then doctors decide which one is good, which one is
Okay. Which is suitable for you and which one
too
is
much
not suitable.
or too
Too
less.
much.
We prepare special diet, and we have 15 days diet, and it
A 15-day period.
repeat every 15 days, and
Ah.
every day we have a different food.
Okay, thank you. Interesting. Okay, we would move on to the next question.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Harith Imran. I'm from Seri Abim Sungai Ramal. I'd like to ask, how long does an astronaut stay in space in average?
Okay, pretty clear, I guess.
Of course, it depends on program. Sometimes maybe short flight. For example, space shuttle flight was maximum 12 or 15 days, maximum 15. Long duration flights depends again from cruise scientific program, maybe 1 month, half a year, 1 year,
Okay.
400 days. What, for example, next year, Russian and American astronauts going to stay in International Space Station for 1 year without breaking.
So 12 ke 15 hari bergantung kepada program. Ada yang sampai bertahun, setahun pun ada. Okay, move on to the next question.
Assalamualaikum. Good
Assalam.
afternoon, everyone. First, I want to thank you guys for the big information. Like we.
Can you speak a bit louder so we can't
Thanks.
hear you?
We are so glad to be here in UKM. My name is Abu Bakr Noor from UNICEF. My question is, from your experience, the communication system, how the communication system is going from your first journey until now, and how the science is going to decide to make the communication between you and the station in the Earth so easy. So like now in flight, we can flying the flight from the departure until the landing. So how it could be that in your journey in space, Thank you.
You didn't? Okay, we didn't quite get it. Actually, can you state your question in short form again?
My question is about the
Loudly, we can't hear you.
My question is about the communication.
Communication.
How to communicate in the station there, and how that's the history of the communication in this side between you and the journey in the space until the station. And
You mean communication between the astronauts and the Earth station, is it?
yeah, and how the
Okay.
science is going to prove that.
Okay, the communication between the astronauts and the ground station.
So during flight, we have to talk with two MCC, Mission Control Center.
Mission Control Center.
In Moscow and in Houston. Of course, we have payload mission control centers. It's two in Europe, maybe three. Payload.
Payload.
Scientific science. We have science program, so we directly talk with science. And of course, we have payload mission control in Japan. Of course, we have mission control center payload in the US.
Okay.
And of course, during flight, all time our flight is controlling by MCC Moscow and MCC Houston.
Okay.
They have to check all our system of the station and Soyuz.
Okay.
So sometimes we can't see what's happening inside with system of station. So mission control center all time. In mission control center we have different kind of specialists who has narrow field of system, and they all time check the condition of that system. And of course about 100 person simultaneously sit continue
1,500 people sit
working
at one time.
day and night.
Okay, day and night monitoring the communication. Okay, next question, please.
Hi, my name is Marcus and I'm from Chipaka.
Okay.
Yeah, my question is, of course, being in space has an effect on your body. What kind of long-term effects does space travel have on you? I mean, like physically.
Long-term effects of space travel.
You know, the initial 15 minutes are already giving a big change. There are a lot of changes in your body fluid constitution of the body, because when you see here, normally, if I would not have countermeasures, all my blood fluids would go into my feet. So you have tissues, you are pressing that one up. But this is because God has this 1G on our body, and when we are flying into space, we are losing that. But these tissues are still there and are pressing up all the fluids. So you're shifting about 3 liters of fluid of your total body upstairs. And when you see the first videos of new coming astronauts into a space station, you see this puffy face. They are all a little bit bigger, yeah? And the wrinkles go away. That would be nice for the ladies sometimes, yeah? So you don't need any maquillage.
It would be nice for the men too.
Yeah, for us sometimes as well, but we don't care, yeah? And that is the first 15 minutes, it starts already. And there are a lot of scientific experiments already on this phase. But when you launch, you have one shot only. Therefore, we do long endurance missions. There we can see then the long time effect and not the short time. Long time effect, obviously, when you have in space, you are having not these protective layers of our Earth, which are getting around a lot of, let's say, extreme cases from outside. They're sheltering it away. but still you're having an effect. As an example, big materials are coming through, even through your eyes and bones, and you're seeing that on the surface of your eye, in the retina, that all of a sudden you see a little flash. And these are particles which are dropped through and going to your retina, unfortunately. And obviously, they are harming this constitution. It's not only the retina, there you see it, but it goes through bones, it goes to tissues, it may even affect the DNS in your body, and therefore a lot of scientific value is done, or research is done. Before you had proper DNS, then you're going into space, something happens, and then you're coming down, and then you're measuring as well, how is your DNS now? So you're probably being, let's say, affected, and something is not properly working anymore. And then it is the long time as well, how long does it take to repair all this? So our body has, fortunately as well, repair mechanisms to treat you a little bit, to that if something is happening on your DNS, you're not directly having cancer or something like that. Yeah? So your body is a pretty good machine. It repairs himself, and that is really something which is very good. Obviously, long time, your bones are being affected, your muscles being affected, because you're using them not in the same way you were constructed. Yeah? But that is the research which has to be done, and this is always big value.
Can I add
Yes, please,
some-
please.
Can I add? And in the 1970s, scientists had a special experiment, 20 days without physical training in space. So
20 days without physical training in space. Okay.
no physical training.
No physical training at all. Okay.
Okay. After they returning into the Earth, they 15 days, about 2 weeks, they couldn't stay.
Oh, after 2 weeks they couldn't stand.
Yes.
When they come back to Earth.
Yes.
Okay.
So you have to understand how important to
Physical
have
training.
physical training in space. So every day we have to
Exercise.
spend about 2-3 hours for physical training. That's not just for muscles or bone. That's for have normal condition after flight.
Okay.
And of course, in this case, we have to bring our body to pre-flight condition. Body needs about 1 year in average.
1 day to recover.
1 year.
1 year. Oh, okay. 1 year to recover back to normal. Okay. I hope that answers your question. Okay, thank you. We move on to the next Champaka student, I guess.
Hi, my name is Z. I'm from the same school as that guy.
Uh-huh.
My question is, what advances in space exploration in the next 5 and 10 years do you expect to see? And based on your experience, how close are we to those advances?
Okay. Maybe Mr. Klaus would like to take that.
Future, you are asking about how we will
what
work
you
in
want to
space.
see? Yeah, what advances you want to see in exploring space and stuff?
What improvements you would like to see?
Yeah.
Okay. So nowadays we do a lot of science in space. It's clear that all countries together work for human science, for all results of experiments that we have in nowadays in space. We share with the US, with Europe, ESA, Japan, and it means all experiments mostly we do together. And of course we go ahead more faster, I mean. So, of course, space science begins just 20, maybe 30 years before. And we scientists don't know enough to say that we nowadays we have imagination about space flights, about space future. That's why we can't say what will be in 15, 20 years. Of course, we want to fly to Moon, to Mars, to other stars, but nowadays we have not settled how to fly to Mars because it's a big problem. For example, radiation, how to
counter radiation.
To overcome radiation, we don't know. So it is a problem for Mars flight, for example.
Okay, so next question. I hope
Just
you
may
get
I add something to this
Okay.
one, please?
Please do, please do.
You know, at the moment we are looking for all experiments which are done on a mission. We're looking from the human side, from the ethnic side, whether this experiment may be done, because the data are pretty much open afterwards, that he has not a negative effect on this person afterwards. So we're looking whether from the side of the humanity it is possible to do things. But what we are not checking really is that when two similar experiments are being done, as an example, you have a glasses on there where a camera is in there, and each institute had still the right at the moment to use their own equipment. But there should be as well a board of checkers afterwards to say, okay, let's ask these two institutes to work together and put only one type of glasses upstairs, because every kilogram which you transport, I think it is 10,000 US dollars about to bring it up, that is rather expensive. So you can save a lot of things when you do communication between the institutes. But obviously an institute has its own freedom of choosing his equipment. But now it is on us to be intelligent enough to say, okay, yes, we're giving up our freedom, but we're working together with the other ones. And when you do an experiment, very often you have certain guidelines what you want to check, and the next institute has slightly different parameters, so you cannot compare them. But if you would have an agreement how you do it, then it is cheaper, and you have not only n equal 1, you have n equal 2 already, or after a while you have n equal x, same experiments where you can do a statistics out of it. Out of n equal 1, it is not a real statistic, yeah? So you can make space flight much cheaper, and then all of a sudden it opens the possibility for other people or other nations as well to be with it, because otherwise they cannot pay it.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Assalamualaikum to the Muslim and good evening to the non-Muslims. I would like to ask Mr. Salizan.
Louder please, and make it short and to the point. We have another 15 minutes to go, so the questions, I believe.
Mr. Salizan claimed
Okay,
that...
sorry, 5 minutes to go, so you guys have to make it quicker. Answers also shorter, please. Okay, move.
Mr. Salizan claimed that he entered the military service just now. And may I ask that being an astronaut needs a flexible body, right? So, how did you...
Cakap Melayu tak apa.
Macam mana sesuaikan diri?
Macam mana sesuaikan diri untuk?
Macam daripada masuk military kan, badan tough. So masuk astronaut jadi fleksibel je.
Oh, he's asking. You need to be, you were a military person, so he said you had a tough body. Then he says that to be an astronaut you need to have a flexible body. So how did you adapt?
So I retired not long time ago, just 2 years ago. I served in army as a soldier first. Then I go to military school and become military pilot. I'm military pilot. I served until until 2 years ago.
2 years ago, okay.
So
how did you adapt? What did you had to do to become flexible?
So soldiers' requirements is, of course, you can understand. Not necessary to make pilotage,
orbit,
looping,
acrobatics,
soldier, just
gymnastics.
No. Just running and protecting country. Military pilots protect country from the air. So pilots has to have good health because we can do acrobatics. In one flight we can do 5-10 loops, and we can make air strike.
Okay, I think we cut short there. I'm sorry, we have to cut short. We need to give the next person a chance.
So
okay,
requirements much bigger than for soldiers.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Ashraf. I'm from College Technology Timor. I have a simple question regarding medical treatment. You know, just now, last session, we have been imbibed with information that to become an astronaut is not an easy thing. You need to be in good health conditions, and you must not have surgery. So, regarding to medical treatment in the outer space, especially in the ISS, so if you accidentally cut yourself and you need immediate treatment, so how would you handle that situation? Is surgery the best option?
Of course, sometimes we don't have doctors with us. That's why all cosmonauts, astronauts, they have special training during their training to fly, to space flight. So, of course, we do everything that can do nursery, and of course we can make first aid, and we can make all medical experiments, take blood and check everything, take cardiography, and we can make a small surgery too. Because in dangerous situation nobody can help there. That's why we have special medical program. We have to pass it. Without medical knowledge, nobody send cosmonaut or astronaut into space.
Okay, thank you. So one last question before. I'm sorry to the others.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So good news for you guys. So we have some time extension. We can finish off with the last person. After that, no more questions. Okay. So please speak loudly, straight to the point, and astronauts, please answer short and straight to the point. Okay. Okay.
Okay. Here's my question. My name is Muhammad Fahmi Zikri bin Kamardin. I'm also from College Technology Timor. So my question is, Malaysia is regarded new to aerospace, and just as you said just now, astronaut does not symbolize an achievement. It's a team. So, other than astronauts as a profession, what other professions in the team that makes the achievements?
So thank you for this question, because the teamwork is very important. So it starts by the overall layout of a mission. And then afterwards it will be decided which experiments are being done in this mission. And obviously sometimes the experiments which being done being directly appointed to one of the cosmonauts, astronauts or taikonauts or Ashkashavan. And then these people are training only the part which is producing the results. But before that, there is the institutes of universities who are applying for having one of their experiments flown, or even just by ballistic flights going on 28 or 30 seconds microgravity. When this is good enough, when this is checked, maybe they will be elected to do a real flight with these experiments. And then there are engineers, there are medical doctors, there are physicians, there are as well trainers to put this knowledge to the guys who are doing this afterwards. Then there is an analysis team as well who are collecting all the data and analyzing all this data afterwards. So there are not only one type of people needed, and probably a lot of secretaries as well, then a lot of people who are financing it, so you need as well financial people in there. So you can name it, it is not only one single one. Speak up loud.
All right, good afternoon. My name is Kai. We are Department of Aircraft Maintenance from Polytechnic Banting. My question is, all right, see, we know that to become an astronaut, we need to be physically prepared and mentally prepared. So for the psychological training and the physical training, which one comes first? Thank you.
Well, obviously the physical training comes first, but it is nice that you're just talking about the psychological training, because that is one of the first questions asked, what is hard in being an astronaut? Just imagine you are having done something bad and your parent says you are for 6 weeks in your room. That's exactly what happens there, but it is longer. It is half a year. And then you have to be with your brother always together, which is the other cosmonaut or astronaut. Maybe you don't like him. And there, all of a sudden, you have already this friction points where the psychology is coming into place. Obviously, in a big station like the ISS is today, you will find a place where you can hide or being alone a little bit. When you are sad, you can relax a little bit there and think about your family and so on. But when it is work, we are professional and we're working together, even we don't like the other one. There we are professional enough. But obviously when you have this time when you just being alone or you want to be alone, you cannot open the door, you cannot go just in town. This is the hard part about it. And yes, there are specialists who are preparing you for this. Obviously, a lot of things you have to learn by yourself a little bit, and you have to help. They cannot teach you everything. Then afterwards, you see what happens now. We are getting questions being asked, how to answer them. It's not so easy. Initially, you have so much euphoria in yourself that you're just spreading out, your eyes are glancing for euphoria and everything is just good. But after a while you think, okay, but how to answer this question correctly is not so easy. So You are easy because you are asking nice questions, but there is the media, the press sometimes, they are not happy that you're spending a lot of money for just going one time in space. So you are asking their awful questions to you. And there you have to prepare as well a little bit to answer them correctly, or let's say diplomatic.
Okay, thank you. So before we ask your question, there's someone who gave me a question much earlier, but is very shy to ask. So hijack your question for a while. He is a Malaysian, he or she is a Malaysian, a mechanical engineer. So he or she is interested to know whether someone like them can work whether for NASA or ESA or the Russian Space Agency, meaning someone from foreigner, okay, and not having aerospace engineering but mechanical engineering. If yes, how?
Of course, every country has own space program, state space program. Of course, it's divided for military, for science, for exploring another planets and manned space flights. So you understand that space exploration is big field of science and practice. Of course, for manned space flights, we work together. And we do science almost all academicians, science connected with each other. Of course, we can go to NASA as a representative of country or organization or university. We can't work in NASA as a NASA specialist, or American specialists can't come to Russia and work as a Russian specialist. Of course, we have limits a little bit.
Okay,
that's why.
So I have to cut short because we still have a few more. So what I understand is it's not limited to one field, but you have various teams actually being involved. Okay, sir, you.
Okay, my name is Renuraj from Department of Aircraft Maintenance from Polytechnic Banting. Can you explain what you will do when you are not in a space? I mean your duty when you are in a Earth.
Your duty when you're on Earth.
You know, there are not always only space flights. If you're preparing for one, then you are pretty busy in learning all the experiments and learning the machinery which is on your new space station and so on. So you are, let's say, training 1 or 2 years for your mission. But when you're coming home, then it's as well the time of a payback. Because you were sent up there, you get a lot of glory and people are interested in your results as well. But when you're coming home, you have to first recreate your body mentally. You are trying to get your families in the correct way again, so to normalize your life again. This is one thing. But then when you are talking about duty, especially in Russia, a lot of people were flying once, twice, 3 or 5 times, but some had only one flight. You know, Madame Tereshkova as an example. Unfortunately, she was always put on the podest, what I just described before. And she is living in Star City, but a real job like this, she doesn't have. She is a representative for women in space, as an example. Yeah? But is that really sufficient for a life? So that is as well the backside of a medal sometimes, that you are being always exponent and you're being treated and you're being used as well. But this is as well for your glory, and of course the institution will ask you to do your job afterwards. So there is a lot of things which are dealing with press. You are traveling to other countries where you are invited to see as a cosmonaut or astronaut. So that other jobs is more or less public relation, and as well to motivate young people to maybe becoming one of these astronauts or these team workers in this science field of work. But it is not always easy, because it is not your decision, it is obviously the decision of your country or your institution sometimes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Next person. Okay, so that will be the last question for the day.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Mukri.
Louder, please. Louder,
My
please.
name is Mukri.
Okay.
I'm from Surya Bim. My question is, what do you do in your free time in space?
What do you do during your free time in space? Okay, short answers. We are almost out of time.
Of course, we have special program. As I said before, every crew work time is about 8-9 hours for one day. 8 hours for sleep and 8 hours for eating, for cleaning, for have free time. But usually we have about maybe 1 or maximum 2 hours free time. Of course, we have big vocabulary of DVD films. We have books. Nowadays we have chance to talk through the telephone, iPhone, telephone with our family, friends, but not often. And of course, Saturday and Sunday it has to be free day, but
on the space station it is
not
not a
in
free
space
day.
station. We have to clean,
Okay.
work. So in my 6.5 months flight, I saw just one DVD film in free time.
Okay, unfortunately, that's all the time that we have for today. Okay, so thank you so much for participating. A big round of applause to our 2 astronauts here. Okay, so what we are going to do next is, of course, both of you will be escorted by our team, while the rest of you, we would like to invite you to look at the rocket launching competition outside. Okay, so we would like to invite you, please. It's at the foyer outside of this hall. Oh, okay. Okay, there's a bit of a delay there. So you